There's got to be more than this. Mm. When I tell you that that has been a major thought that I've had for the majority of my life, and I can't explain it. And I wanted to take a moment to just do this video for someone out there that thinks that they're weird, that thinks that they're strange, that thinks that, they just don't fit. Because maybe you are in a position where, like me, I grew up in a low-income household. My mom was a single mother, and she was hustling. She was doing everything that she could do. But there was something in me that just said that I was going to do great things. There was something in me that was like, man, there's got to be more for me than this. I grew up in a factory town. And in a factory town, basically what happens is that you go work in one factory, and then you have another one that's maybe offering 25 cents more, 50 cents more, $1 more an hour, and you go there and you're doing all this manual labor, and there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, honey, I love me a blue-collar man, okay? But I will tell you that it's like, I remember being in the parking lot, going into a job, and I was working at this factory, and we would put together the containers that would go to convenience stores. And so I'm there and I'm working, and I was pulling like a second shift, and I had my son at the time, so I would never get to spend afternoons with him. And it was hot, y'all. When I tell you it was hot, it was like, if it was 91 degrees outside, it was a solid 110 inside this warehouse. Like, it was crazy. And I just remember sitting in the parking lot and crying, just crying at the thought of having to go in there, because there was something in me that was like, I cannot do this for the rest of my life. Now, mind you, once again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. And for some people, they thrive. One of my good friends, he started working in a factory at 18 years old. And now he's moved up in the ranks, and he's still been there. It's been over 25 years. And I will tell you that even though I was out working all these professional jobs with all these degrees, there were a lot of years where he made more money than I did, okay? When I'm borrowing money from him. So I am in no way saying that it's not an honorable career. So please don't come for me with that, because once again, I love a hardworking person. But I knew it wasn't for me. Does that make sense? And I remember my dream was to be dressed up and to go to a meeting. Like, I wanted to wear a business suit and go to a meeting. Like, that's all I wanted. And I just thought that would be if only I knew, right? And I just wanted to go to a meeting, right? And so I remember when I was at my first internship, and it was at a radio station, and they had a staff meeting for the marketing department, and I got to go, and I'm sitting at the boardroom table, and they were talking, and I don't even know what they were talking about at the time, honey, because I was like in heaven, because my dream had come true, and I was in a meeting. But I would just say that there was just something inside of me, this discontentment, this disenchantment that has always been a part of my life of, there is more. Keep moving. There has got to be more than this. And I would love to tell you that it was gone now, but it's not. That's why I'm doing this video. That's the only reason why I'm in front of this camera, is because I know that I have something to share with the world. I know that there's something that I'm supposed to be doing. And so I can't be complacent. And so I wanted to share that with you, because I know that there are other people out there that feel like that. And if you do, and you're watching this video, let me know in the chat. Let me know, because I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. Let me introduce myself. I'm coming for 3 minutes. Okay. So what then? I gotta get better at this podcast, I think. Okay, so my name is Dr. Renae, and welcome to the FirstGen Conversations podcast. I am so excited that you're here today. So what we do is that we share our stories of first-generation high-income earners and first-generation high achievers, so that no matter where you are on this journey, that you can have the tools, the knowledge, and the resources that you need to be able to optimize your journey. Learn from our mistakes, learn from our wins. We're that community that you've been looking for, and we're so glad that you're here. And so, anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so this is the thing. There is nothing wrong with you. You do not think you're better than everyone else. You are a person that is driven. I'm a newly minted doctor. I literally just graduated, right? And so the crazy part is that in my research, I decided that I wanted to find out about pivotal moments of change for first-generation high-income earners. And as you continue to listen to this podcast, once you subscribe and become part of our tribe, you'll hear more about that research, where you'll know all of my business, and you'll get plenty of resources and stuff like that, and nuggets. Something that I learned in that research is that oftentimes that all of them had that. They had that drive, or they had an experience that sparked that drive in them. So there's nothing wrong with you. But what it means is that right now, you are living beneath your potential. Right now, it's time for you to start to listen, to start to connect, and to start to learn strategies on how to change your situation. I know you already have dreams in your heart. We are here to help you to nurture those and to get strategies to be able to start your journey as a first-generation pioneer. And as a first-generation pioneer, what do I mean by that? I mean, these are individuals that are maybe still in a low-income situation or struggling financially, that are trying to figure out, how am I going to get out of this, right? I remember that. As well as individuals that are maybe just starting college, or first-generation professionals or entrepreneurs, or even high-income earners who have finally gotten the money. You've gotten the numbers, but now you're like, I don't quite know what to do right now because these taxes, the taxes alone, okay? And so that's why we created this place. We created this place where we can share the wisdom and the knowledge that hopefully will be able to help you to be able to do better on your journey. And what would it feel like when I think back? A lot of times I was by myself, just grinding it out, and I didn't have lofty goals. So this is the thing, and this is the reason why this was so important to me, is that when you're in the process of escaping poverty and getting to college, or getting training so you can go into a higher paying job, or because college isn't the only route, please don't, I'm not trying to say that, or you're getting your first job, or you're going to the military, or you're doing all these things. So when you're in that process, you're like, oh, I can see the step in front of me, right? And so sometimes you're grinding so hard, you're doing all the things, you're hustling, you're trying to get to where you need to get to. But you may not be able to see the opportunities that are there, or figure out like, what's the best way for me to be able to optimize this, or what are some strategies? Like, it's hard to see it while you're in it. So we wanted to have a community that you can come to and just listen in. Sometimes you just need to listen in. Regardless of what's happening, you're going to be able to hear something that you'll pick up on. And so the purpose of this video, I feel like I've been all over the place, was just to let you know that you're not alone, that here is your tribe, and we're here to offer you different perspectives. We're here to offer you input, and most importantly, resources and tools to help you along your journey. So what would I do if I was in this position again? And please, I'm gonna give you a caveat here. I'm gonna say something, and people aren't gonna like this. Just because you went to college or you got a white collar job doesn't mean that you're high income. I had this thought one time, and the thought was this: I'm so sick of working my tail off and still broke. I'm still broke. I'm confused. Like, why am I working a 50, 60-hour week and I'm still broke? Somebody's not doing something right. There can't be. I'm making some wrong choices somewhere, and it would be something different if I was working at a retail. No, honey, I had a full degree, working a full-time job, and still broke. So there's something wrong there, right? But whenever I look back on it, there are a couple of things that I realized were wrong. First thing was that I was making decisions based on what I knew. My goal was to try to provide a better life for me and my family, and to survive, and to try to make money, and to try to avoid having to work in a factory. That was my goal, right? And so I'm trying to do these things, and I was making a difference. I was serving, I was working at nonprofits, I was doing all these different things to help people, but honey, we were still broke. And when I talk about broke, I'm talking about borrowing gas money 2 days before you get paid broke, okay? And so I am thinking about this thing. But when I look back on it, what it was that I didn't have anybody in my life that was like, wait a minute, sis, let's take a minute. You have this degree, you got this skill set, you're absolutely brilliant. Like, I didn't have anyone saying that and then saying, let's sit down and figure out how to optimize this journey, to use all the things that you bring to the table so that you can get the kind of job that could actually pay you enough money. Because somewhere I was not making the connection. And it was because I was doing the best that I could with what I had. I was the smartest person in the room in my group. And when you're the smartest person in the room, it might feel good to you that you're that big fish, right, in that little pond. However, there's no one there that can pull you up and challenge you and expose you to different things and give you a different perspective and to share different things with you. Now, mind you, this was pre-internet days. Honey, if I would have had the internet, okay, what? Well, it wasn't pre-internet, but I'm not that old. But it was before the internet became popular days. And let's say the early 2000s, right? So anyway, I'm doing all these different things. I'm prepared to clean that up because I am. Okay, but anyway. So anyway, I didn't have that person or those group of people pulling me up or trying to invest in me. All the people that I knew that were mentoring me, things like that, they were mentoring me to help me to do more of what they were doing. But they weren't mentoring me to be better or to be able to earn more money or to be able to bring more to the table. And so it wasn't until I decided to invest in myself and become an entrepreneur where I was able to go out and do things I never dreamed were possible, that I was able to start to level up financially. And it was a process. And I would love to tell y'all that I did this in my 20s. No, I didn't start having my own business until I was in my mid-30s. That's crazy. And so I wanted to bring people to the table to help other people that are like me, still on this journey. And yes, it might feel good because you might make more money than everybody else in your family, or you might make more money than everyone else in your group, or you might have accomplished things that no one else has accomplished. But that's a low standard. That's a really low standard. So we want to bring people in that can share their stories and their resources, and we can share opportunities with you and tools and strategies so that you can stop just saying, oh, I'm doing better than everybody else, and start saying, wait a minute, let me optimize this. Let me see what it's like to hear from first generation high income earners. Let me see what it's like to hear from first generation high achievers, people who have gone out, that have grinded and have done things that are impacting this world and the society in an incredible way. Let me hear about them, because the interesting part about them is they started right where I was. And some of them probably have stories that were and had to overcome a lot more than what I had to overcome. I want to know what they went through. I want to know their experiences. I know I do. Listen, I am here for it. I am at their feet, like with my notebook. What happened? How do I do this? What's the strategy? And so no matter where you fall in this process, if you are still, in a financial situation, if you're still in low income house and you're just like, there's something in me that tells me that there is more for me in this life. This can't be it. This can't be it. But I want to do it, but I want to do it right. I ain't trying to go to jail. I'm not trying to hustle. I don't want to do all that. But I want to figure out how to start to move my life on. Or you might be a first generation college student that's like, listen, if I'm going to invest all this time and this money in getting this degree, get this debt, then what I want to know is, how do I optimize this so that I can make sure that whatever career I go into is one that is going to set me up to be financially stable, to be able to build wealth, and to make an impact. Because we know money's not everything. But I will tell you this, and one of the people that were in my study, they said this, and it really, really struck me because of the truth of it. He said, I wanted to be this. I wanted to go into this career because it was all I knew, right? When we choose our careers, we choose things that we're exposed to. So oftentimes people that are first generation, they go into careers of things they were exposed to. Social work. They go into teaching. They may go into nursing. They may go into fields, in which nursing is a little different right now, where they're going to be helping people because that's all that they saw. But you never know. You might have an engineer in you. You might have an architect in you, but you never had the opportunity to explore that. And so we want to have those conversations that kind of talk about that. Are we just picking off the low-hanging fruit, or are we actually trying to be the best we can be? Now, mind you, teaching, social work, incredible professions. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for everyone that's in it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this, is why are you choosing the major that you're choosing? And when you choose it, do you have to stop at entry level? Can you look and say, you know what, I'm going to start out here, but I want to end up here. I want to start out as a teacher, but I want to end up as a principal, as an administrator. I want to end up as someone that can be able to start to formulate some of those roles and formulate that environment. We just want to challenge your mind a little bit. So that's the purpose of this podcast. It's very organic, as you can see. I'm not going to try to be perfect. I'm not going to spend hours in editing because, honey, I have money to make and things to do, okay? And so we're going to do this very organically. We're going to bring on some amazing guests that have some great things to share with you. We're going to bring on organizations that have benefits that they can offer individuals that are college students and opportunities, that can help us as professionals, as entrepreneurs. You will not believe how much money we leave on the table as first generation professionals or entrepreneurs. One, in professionals, because we don't know how to negotiate, right? Or because we don't know the value that we bring to that table and how to be able to speak to that. We're going to talk about that. And then also as entrepreneurs, the money that we leave on the table, because there's all these opportunities and resources that are out there for us, especially if you're a minority, but we're not taking advantage of it because we're so busy with our heads down doing the work in the business, right? Because we don't know how to delegate and we don't know how to lead. Mm-hmm. Yes. Now that right there was personal. I was mentioning myself. That was me. Right. And so learning how to grow our businesses is so important. So we're going to get all into the tea on all of it. And what I love about this is no matter where you are on this path, no matter where you are, I don't care if you're still low income starting a journey or if you are a high income earner, we're going to have something for you. And so join, connect, watch all the episodes. It is my job, one, to bring people together so we can talk about this stuff, whether I'm presenting at a college, a university, or corporation, or you're a nonprofit, or whether or not we're here on this podcast So it's my job to bring people together so we can talk about it and equip people. But it's also my job in these interviews and with myself to make sure that we're addressing, all the points of the journey, right? My name, once again, is Dr. Simon. And I just wanted to take a moment just to let you know that wherever you are, whatever you're going through, and even if you're not first generation, because I know some of y'all stuck in here, that's okay. Come on, say, this is it. We're your tribe. You can be here with us. But because if you're trying to make it happen, you need to be here. But regardless of where you are on this journey, we are putting this together to support you. So support us. And the way that you do that is just subscribe, like it. If you're on the podcast, do whatever you're supposed to do. I think it's review. Review the podcast. I'm new to this. I'm learning. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, like it, share. Share with someone else because it might help them. Okay? That's the one thing. That's one thing we will not do, is that we will not be people that are going through this process and then act like we don't want to help others. Don't do that. Don't do that. I have a friend, and she, I was about to end the video, but you don't get that right now. So I have a friend, and she tells me this story, and I think it's so powerful. She is in her 50s, and she still remembers approaching an entrepreneur in her family when she was a teenager to ask them if she could have a job. And she wasn't even asking for a lot of pay. She was just like, let me experience what it's like to work in an office rather than go work at a fast food joint or something like that, right? Nothing wrong with it, but she was like, I want to experience this. And the person told her to come back once she got her college degree. And the reason why that's an interesting story is this. She's in her 50s. She's never forgotten. The thing hurt her deep. It cut her deep, right? And we've all got those type of stories. Don't be that person. That face you just made when I told you that, is that you? Don't be that person. Share with other people so that they can come up just like you do. Even the people you've given up on because you keep trying to help them and they keep turning you down. And you're like, oh, I ain't going to ask them for nothing else. I'm not going to invite them for nothing else. No, we're not going to be that way. We're going to have generous hearts because freely you receive, so freely give. And I'm doing this for free, but I'm hoping to help you with it. So make sure that you share. That's my soapbox for today. So make sure that you share so that you can help someone else. And I think that's it. That's all I have for this one. But I promise I'm going to study my craft to get better, y'all. Okay, so my name is Dr. Renae, and thank you for joining us on the First Generation Conversations podcast. And we want to create hundreds of thousands of first-generation high achievers and high-income earners by learning from them and following in their footsteps. And honey, I'm at the front of the line. Do you hear me? I'm like, I want everything you got. All right, we'll see you in the next conversation. And until then, go out and tell somebody that you found your tribe.